The next day at school, Yona and Seokju are walking side by side as usual when Seokju spots Jin standing outside the classroom. They call out to him, and he promptly looks up. Both of them ask why he's standing there, to which Jin replies that he needs to talk to Seokju about something. Yona is startled by this and starts wondering what it could be about. Once they get inside the lounge room, Seokju inquires about the incident from the previous night. Jin, seemingly prepared to explain, states that he thought it was time to tell what happened. Seokju braces himself, and Jin finally reveals that the man he hit with the car last night was someone he used to work with and who had come to see him. A silence follows, with Seokju expecting more details. When he asks if that's all, Jin simply says that's pretty much it because it's better if he doesn't know anymore. Seokju feels a bit bummed out, not expecting Jin to keep things so low-key. Jin, however, is convinced Seokju must have looked into the guy he tracked down last night. He tells his friend that it's best not to dig any deeper into the man's past, and that he's sharing this because of his help. Seokju feels proud after being acknowledged by our boy, and tells him that he doesn't want to dig any further either, especially since this guy is tied to Jin's past. After their little chat, the both boys head back to class. Yona then curiously asks Seokju what they talked about. When Seokju doesn't answer right away, she tries to guilt-trip him, asking if he can't even share that much. Seokju caught off guard and quickly improvises and says he was just asking Jin how to level up in a game. Yona lights up, thinking this means Jin is really into video games. But then she remembers Yongchan is way more into gaming, and Hyokjin and Jaehyung are also much better players. She wonders why Jin would ask Seokju for advice when those guys are pros, or maybe Jin just wanted to chat with someone on his own level. Well, this little banter really hits the poor guy right in the gut, while our boy seems to be busy minding his own business. Once school ends, we see Yona outside. She's making notes about their groceries and wondering if she should buy some fruit since it's been a while since Grandpa had any. Suddenly, someone calls her name. When she looks up, she notices a boy standing in front of her who doesn't look like anyone from their school. Once he has her attention, he asks if she goes to Sinan High School. Yona quickly confirms that she does, and the boy then says he was kind of wondering if he could get her number. Not surprisingly, this startles Yona, who has no clue how to react. She starts to panic, while the boy reassures her not to be scared or feel pressured, saying he just wanted to get to know her. Eventually, Yona turns him down as politely as she can, and it seems like the boy takes it in stride, though he does look a bit disappointed. A big guy from behind comes up and mocks the boy for getting rejected so quickly. That's when the boy shows his true colors, getting all cocky and sternly reminding her that all he asked for was her phone number. Before he can harass Yona any further, he gets a brutal slap across the face. The one who delivered that stinging slap is none other than Jaehyung, who is accompanied by two other friends. The boy turns around, demanding to know who slapped him, but he just gets another slap from Jaehyung for acting so tough. After feeling the sting of the slaps, this lowlife realizes that dealing with these guys is a terrible idea. Meanwhile, Hyokjin is giving the other goon chills with just his glares, and the two bullies decide to leave, trying to salvage whatever dignity they have left. Orangehead lets out a sigh of disappointment seeing these bullies, then happily turns to Daeon, asking if she's all right. The girl says yes and starts bowing her head frantically, but Jaehyung feels embarrassed, and quickly tells her that there's no need to say thank you. At the other block of this street, we see people freaking out as they spot a group of thugs strolling down the streets. And surprise, surprise, it's Taisoo Gi, along with his underling Incheon and the rest of his lackeys. They're casually strolling down the area, and wouldn't you know it, the same guy who tried to harass Daeon is with them, clearly bringing in Taisoo as backup to get revenge on our beta bullies. By the way, this harasser's name is Taishong, and he apparently is the brother of Taisoo Gi. Meanwhile, Taisoo is feeling absolutely annoyed, grumbling about how every wannabe tough guy in town seems to think they can mess with them these days. That is when his lackey reminds him that word of their defeat by the bunch of high schoolers is getting around, and they might need to do some damage control. So, they decide to start spreading their terror by taking out the thugs who dared to mess with Taisong. A creepy smile spreads across Taisoo's face as he agrees with his lackey, saying they're going to show these guys what Goshok Tech is really made of. Suddenly, his little brother points his finger at Daeon and states, "That is the girl who got me smacked by a bunch of guys." Well, it looks like these punks are in for one hell of a ride again because our boy is strolling down the street with his sister. The harasser quickly points out that the guy walking beside her isn't the one who slapped him earlier. Taisoo, on the other hand, feels like he's seen this person before. When he takes a closer look at our boy, he's absolutely devastated to recognize who it is. His lackeys also start trembling as they remember that this is the same guy who beat them up after infiltrating their turf. While Taisoo is trembling in fear, his little brother asks, "What's the matter?" Taisoo asks if the girl next to that guy over there is the one he was trying to hit on. His little brother nods, only to receive a devastating slap across the face. Taisu angrily asks his brother if he's trying to get them all killed. The poor kid is in absolute tears, clueless about why his brother is coming down so hard on him, but he ends up getting even more of a beating. Later, we find ourselves back at the apartment, and Dion is really amazed at how good Jin is at peeling fruits. The brother smiles and asks if she thinks so. She nods, saying she could never get them this smooth and round, no matter how hard she tries. Suddenly the phone rings, and the sound echoes through the living room. The voice seems to be coming from Jin's room, so he heads over and finds his phone on the table. When he checks it, he notices it's an unknown caller, but he answers anyway, and it turns out to be 06 on the line. 006 reveals that he has left a trail for the camp to follow, as far away from Jin as possible, and that's where he'll be for the next few days. Once he's out of the country, he plans to leave more traces in other countries to throw them off, which should be quite helpful in confusing them. Jin agrees and adds that he'll set up a separate trail as well. Blondie then strikes a banter, pointing out how Jin was supposed to be a dead man, and now they are trading places. So he doubts that they will ever be able to cross paths. So he wishes him best future before ending the call, and our boy wishes him as well, and with that sweet note their call ends.